Yesterday I was watching Deadpool, and then suddenly a thought occurred in my mind. Why can't Bollywood make a good superhero film? This is the prime time for superhero films. Most of the superhero movies end up earning lots of money, and most of them are also really good. Except from the DC films, because Zack Snyder just doesn't know how to make a good film with the greatest comic book characters ever. Okay, but why Bollywood isn't making a good superhero film? Oh, I forgot. Actually they are. It's called Race 3.
Our business is our business. None of your business.
So I believe the biggest problem is that Bollywood thinks that superhero films are actually for kids. And that's why they are making films like Flying Jhat. But the truth is, adults are the biggest audience for these films. And adults want a good film with good characters and good story. There are two ways to make a good Indian superhero film. Create a new superhero or use an already existing hero. So let's try to find out what were the problems of past Indian superheroes. Let's start with the OG Indian superhero, Shaktimaan. I know this character is kind of like a joke right now, but you can still make a good film with him. The biggest problem with this character is that he is a complete Superman knockoff. He works as a journalist like Clark Kent. He wears specs like him. His love interest is a journalist just like Lois Lane. So we must change his alter ego. You want to keep him as a journalist? That's fine. But at least change his love interest. Then comes his powers. This character is basically like a god. His powers are limitless. We definitely need to reduce his powers because without that you can't write a good story about him. But there are also plus points for him. His costume is really good and his origin story is also cool. But it needs some work. Now let's talk about G1. This is a very promising character. He got a cool origin story. I know it was a little bit silly but still cool. His costume is really good. And his emotional connection with the boy can give material for a good story. But the biggest problem with that film was his love story. As soon as they came to India, the entire story started to drag. If you want a love story in your film, use a love story that is actually good. Or don't use a love story at all, because not all Bollywood films need a love story. Got that? Okay. Now comes the Krrish franchise, the most successful Indian superhero. We currently have 3 movies in this franchise, though the first movie has nothing to do with Krrish, but it's still 3 movies because Rakesh said that. And whatever Rakesh says is correct. Okay? Okay. So jokes aside, let's start with the positives. The origin of Krrish, bang on. Probably the best among these 3. Krrish as a character is really a likable guy. But his costume needs some work. He wears that black suit which suggests he is a badass like Batman. But in reality he is more like Superman. And again, his powers. Not very well defined. I really don't have any idea what he can do. Maybe he can fly, I guess? I really don't know. So it needs some work. And the one last thing. Stop. Just stop using shitty love stories in your films. Please. I believe these 3 have the most potential to be a franchise, especially G1. But to be honest, when your competition is Nagraj and Flying Jhat, it's really not that hard to be the best, is it? So guys, it's me, Tech Inspector, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you on every Thursday, every week. Probably.